School funding is a big issue these days, and as you know, Governor Snyder recently made a recommendation to the state legislature in regard to school funding, and it was not good news for public education. The first point of that was that the governor is recommending that a surplus in the school aid fund, hundreds of millions of dollars, be redirected to support community colleges and four-year universities. On top of that, the governor has recommended a $300 per student cut from another fund, an additional $170 cut, grand total being $470 per student. Now that's in and of itself a very, very large reduction, larger than we have seen, I believe, ever before. On top of that, we're facing an increase in our contribution to the retirement system. Our contribution per employee is going to be going up from 20.6% to 24.6%, resulting in an additional loss of $230 per student. And you put those two things together, you're looking at a $700 per student reduction, which is a huge hit to our funding. Now, as we project forward with our budget as we do annually, there are other factors to consider, such as an expected increase in healthcare costs, an expected decline in enrollment that correlates to a decline throughout the state of Michigan in student enrollment, a loss of special education funding. When you put it all together, we're looking at the potential loss of $1,100 per student. That's an enormous hit to our school budget, and of course we're very concerned, especially because over the past 10 years, public schools have already been in reduction mode. Waterford Schools not excluded. In Waterford alone, over the course of the past 10 years, over $34 million has been cut from the budget. So what we used to talk about cutting fat, we used to talk about differentiating between what was nice and necessary. We're way past that point, and so to have made all those reductions and now be in a situation where we have this huge deficit that we're facing, obviously it causes great concern. Now, it's only a recommendation at this point from the governor, but with a budget needing to go to the board in April and the Board of Education needing to act in June, we can't wait. So we've initiated a process to analyze our options and begin the process of making some very difficult decisions. Along those lines, we need your help. We need the help of everyone. We're asking that you consider any creative suggestions that you may have, any options to reduce expenditures, options to enhance revenues, to approach things a little bit differently. It may be something that you've thought of yourself. It may be something you've heard from a friend or relative, something you've seen in a public workplace, in another school district. But any suggestions you have, we're going to ask that you submit them to us. We've created an email address that you see on the screen. Please send those suggestions to that email address so that we can consider them and be sure that we're not missing anything. In addition, we're asking that you do contact our local legislators. It's not too late to have an impact on the final budget adopted by the state. We're going to still be facing a pretty large deficit, but anything that can be done at the state level to reduce the reduction to our per pupil foundation allowance would be hugely helpful. Again, on the screen you could see the names and addresses, contact information for our local legislators. We ask that you reach out to them and let them know that we cannot balance the budget on the backs of our students. The future of the state of Michigan is dependent on a well-educated workforce, and we can't afford to cut back now of all times. We need to support public education. We will continue to do that here in Waterford. We will make all decisions based on what's best for students and in the best interest of student learning. So with everyone's support and assistance, everyone's best thinking a part of this, we're going to get through this very difficult time. We're going to make the difficult decisions we need to in the best interest of our students, and we're going to keep Waterford Schools strong now and well into the future. Thank you for your time and attention, and thank you for your support.